Tonight, never-before-seen video of DeForest officers' initial interactions with a man convicted of planning to kill his classmate. Just last month, Gabriel Savage pleaded no contest to attempted first-degree intentional homicide. Police say the then 19-year-old was found outside his classmate's home, armed with a gun, knife, handcuffs, and hundreds of rounds of ammunition. 15 Investigates' Elizabeth Wattis shares an interview you'll only see on 15 News with the officers credited for preventing a massacre.
Recording. March 20th, 2022, 10:06 p.m. DeForest Rookie Patrol Officer Ben Zeidler approaches the driver of a car parked the wrong way on the street.
What's going on, man?
For us, pretty run-of-the-mill suspicious vehicle call.
Officer Adam Deppy arrives on scene less than a minute later.
Can I get your name?
Gabriel.
Last name?
Savage.
Savage?
Yeah.
About 90 seconds after making contact with the then 19-year-old Gabriel Savage,
Date of birth?
the routine parking complaint turns into anything but.
Gabe, do you have any weapons in the vehicle?
Officers get Savage out of the car,
Right in front of my squad.
searching him.
Can I just search you? Can I search your pockets to make sure there's nothing in there? Is that okay? Yes.
And searching his vehicle, where they find a rifle, handcuffs, knife, and lots of ammunition.
19 in total magazines. This was all in the back seat or in the bag. There was one magazine in the bag. All the other stuff on him is still on the floor up there.
I believe after it was all said and done, I had counted over 500 rounds for sure.
What's the deal with the magazines in your pockets, though? I mean, how many magazines do you have on you?
Protection.
Okay, do you always walk around with magazines in your pocket?
No. I was scared I'd get lost at night. Someone will try to hurt me or something.
Okay.
Definitely the sight of, black hat, black surgical mask, all black clothing, and then just the sliver of his eyes like this showing that was definitely something I remember.
2 years later, the pair of patrol officers reflect on the severity of that seemingly routine call.
And right away, noticing that weapon sitting in the passenger seat was kind of starting to trip some triggers for us.
The way the officers handled the call is what stands out to veteran DeForest detective Ben Larson.
I've watched all the camera footage and stuff from that initial night, and just the patience and ability to kind of work through understanding the circumstance and the incident in totality. They did an outstanding job.
The balance of protecting the public.
Can I search your pockets to make sure there's nothing in there?
With someone's individual rights and well-being.
And do I have a choice? I mean, I'm asking you for your consent. I'm worried about you that you may not be doing so well.
You always want to treat somebody with respect, though. I go into calls thinking, how would I want to be treated by a police officer, so I try to base my contacts off that.
And lessons not lost on the first responders.
Take every single call seriously, because you absolutely never know what the situation actually is until you are faced with that situation.
Yeah.
We train a lot on mental health, and to just almost have our officers take a step back and look at the whole picture, not just focus in on one thing. So they did an outstanding job of recognizing that we have this basically mental health crisis going on right now.
And do you know what day and month it is without looking?
Plus, a lesson for the community. If you see something, say something. Like that neighbor did that night, calling in that parked car.
We don't know what would have happened if he didn't spot that out of his back window and called in.
But some questions, thankfully, don't need answers. Sometimes the results speak for themselves.
They did a great job preventing something drastic and tragic from happening.
In court, Savage pleaded no contest and was found not guilty due to mental defect. Because of that, he will spend the next 30 years getting treatment in a mental health facility. 3 other charges of attempted first-degree intentional homicide were dropped. In the newsroom, Elizabeth Wattis, 15 Investigates.
Now, this story is only part 1 of Elizabeth's 2-part series on this case.
What is the biggest misunderstanding that people have about your son?
That he's a monster.
Tomorrow, in an interview you'll only see on 15 News, Elizabeth sits down with Gabriel's mom to learn more about the family's decades-long struggle in the mental health system and how she says this situation could have been prevented.
With the victim's family, I believe they never should have had to go through this.
Tonight, for the first time, we sit down with the mother of Gabriel Savage. He pleaded no contest to first-degree attempted homicide after police found him outside his classmate's home with handcuffs, a knife, gun, and lots of ammunition. Now, when many of us think of Gabriel Savage, we picture this. But tonight, we look deeper into Savage's childhood. We do this to see where things went wrong. 15 Investigates' Elizabeth Wattis has the story you'll only see on 15 News.
Happy birthday.
Wishing on a birthday candle.
You like ice cream?
For more family moments like this.
I got a confession to make.
Or in 10-year-old Gabriel's case,
I like ice cream.
You like ice cream too?
That's my confession.
wishing for more of his favorite sweet treat.
The Gabriel I know, he can be funny.
Gabriel is Lisa Savage's oldest son.
This is a picture of us
Taking a walk down memory lane from her kitchen table.
This was his first Halloween.
Precious,
Another one of him as a baby, learning to crawl.
but painful.
So he has noise sensitivity, didn't like to be startled. He was quick to aggress towards other kids.
Gabriel was in kindergarten when Lisa noticed problems starting to surface.
One of the last straws was at the school was when he ran out of the school and his elderly kindergarten teacher tried to race after him. And they said, you know, there's nothing else we can do. You need to take him in to be evaluated.
Lisa took her son to his primary care doctor and then a specialist who put the kindergartner on 2 different medications. As the boy grew, the health concerns did too.
In his 4th grade year, he said he was having problems with concentrating.
Fast forward to middle school, the teen was diagnosed with anxiety and mood disorders. Gabriel hated germs and physical contact. That fear, according to his mom, aggravated by bullying.
They would jump up on him and any chance they got. And that's when he distrusted people. About that time, his case manager and I would sit and talk and are like, okay, we know he's got an anxiety disorder. We know he's got a mood disorder. But there's this big element that's just hindering everything.
Lisa and her husband thought that element was autism, a diagnosis that would have given the teen access to more health evaluations and more treatment options for his delusional disorder and anxiety. Lisa says Gabriel's psychiatrist didn't think autism played a part. Years passed, and then when Gabriel turned 15, he threatened to take his own life. Lisa took him to the emergency room, but doctors sent him home. Lisa took her son to the psychiatrist again.
And she pipes up and she's like, do you think it might be autism? When she said that 4 years later, I'm like, I looked at my husband like, yeah, we think it's autism. Anything, we need this neurological evaluation to figure out what's going on with my son.
A diagnosis wish granted, but granted too late. Wisconsin law says at 14 years old, a teen can refuse mental health treatment. And the now 15-year-old did.
It was like, okay, now what do we do?
It does take time.
Mental health experts in the Badger State say early intervention is key.
There is some great concern about the status of the mental health of people in Wisconsin.
Mary Kay Battaglia is the executive director of NAMI Wisconsin. She says on average, getting the right mental health diagnosis takes up to 10 years, time many sick people don't have to spare.
I just encourage everyone, the earlier you seek treatment, the quicker is your time to recovery. And what we find is the quicker you get to recovery, the better the outcome.
He said no.
Left with her hands tied by law, Lisa watched as her son struggled. And when the COVID-19 pandemic hit,
I think he suffered some sort of psychotic break because all of a sudden I think I have prostate cancer. I think I have eye cancer. I think I have skin cancer. And then all of a sudden he goes, you know what, Mom? I have Alzheimer's and dementia.
Lisa says Gabriel became afraid of technology, thinking radiation from it was making him sick. Her son asked her to cover his TV, gaming system, and microwave with aluminum foil. The delusional teen thought that would protect him.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Which brings this family to the night police say others needed protection from Gabriel.
Gabe, do you have any weapons in the vehicle?
Police found the 19-year-old outside his classmate's home, armed with a gun, knife, handcuffs, and lots of ammunition.
We would acknowledge receipt of the information. We'd waive reading.
He was convicted of attempted first-degree intentional homicide and is now committed to 30 years in a mental health facility.
He needs to get help.
A decades-long sentence this mom actually wished for.
It is a big sense of relief knowing that he's where he needs to be.
But she didn't wish for it in this way.
Gabe's been involved with the mental health system since he was 6 years old. He's 20, he's gonna be 22 this year. In my mind's eye, there's no reason why this should have happened. It should have been caught earlier.
She says blame should be placed on her son, doctors, the mental health system as a whole.
And I actually do put myself in that category too, because I should have fought harder. Sorry.
But this mom moves forward, knowing she now has the time and tools to make new wishes, not only for her son, but for other families wishing for help.
You can't give up.
You're not gonna give up.
Oh no, never. No, he's my little boy.
Lisa and her husband want to use their experience to help other families navigate the mental health system. As for Gabriel, Lisa says she talks to him on the phone almost every day and has visited twice so far. In the newsroom, Elizabeth Wattis, WMTV 15 News.
Well, if you or someone you know is going through a mental health crisis, there is help 24/7. Just call 988, that number right there on your screen. Now, the story you just saw is part 2 of 15 Investigate's series called Crisis Averted. You can find this story and part 1 with the patrol officers who responded that day on our website right now.